Hello and welcome to our shortest study of this series, which is just 2 verses, but they are great 2 verses. Today we'll be in chapter 4, verses 8 to 9. Before we begin, pause for a moment and ask God for our minds to be refreshed of how good He is. So from verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Whatever. It's a phrase we throw around to express thoughts of apathy or disinterest. Yet not so with Paul. In these 2 jam-packed verses, he employs the word whatever no less than 7 times. Whatever he's doing, he's certainly making a point. Paul separates the characteristics listed into 2 categories. First, to think about, the second, to do. It's worth briefly highlighting that they come in that order. Our culture today is all about doing, and doing it as fast as humanly possible. But it is impossible to keep doing all the time and not stopping to rest and think about what, how, why, when are we doing it all. If we don't, we will burn out. And society is starting to realise this, but Paul was way ahead of them by telling us this nearly 2,000 years ago. So what does he tell us to think about? Well, whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, or praiseworthy. He doesn't encourage the Philippian church to think about things that we still can't get from the supermarkets, about the rising death tolls, a struggling government, or strained international relations. No, Paul wants them and us to fix our eyes not on those things, but on such things as truth, nobility, and righteousness. He is not advocating mere wishful thinking. As always, he is advocating Christ. This is living by faith, fixing our eyes on what is unseen. Each of the adjectives Paul lists is supremely met in Jesus, who is the Son of God, who loves you and gave himself for you, Galatians 2 verse 21, and the pioneer and perfecter of faith, Hebrews 12 verse 2. We fix our eyes on him, for he has overcome the world. Secondly, what does Paul tell us to do? Only once we have lifted our minds upwards. Well, whatever you have learnt, received, heard, or seen in him. This isn't about bending over backwards to get into shape or to try harder. It follows directly from a changed heart which focuses on Jesus. And it comes with a powerful and wonderful promise, verse 9. And the peace of God will be with you. What is it that could heal the divisions between Euodia and Syntyche? Chapter 4, verse 2. By what power could Paul consider all things lost? Chapter 3, verse 8. By what strength did Paul consider himself a citizen of heaven? Chapter 3, verse 20. How can we overcome apathy and rejoice in the face of our trials today? Not by trying harder, but by fixing our eyes on Christ, the God of all peace. So just a couple of brief points for consideration and discussion. Spend some time, prayerfully and praisefully, reflecting on what it means for Jesus to be the true embodiment of truth, nobility, righteousness, purity, loveliness, admirability. Consider his excellencies and praiseworthiness. Secondly, who have you not spoken to for a while, who you can reach out to today with encouragement or support? Who can you discuss Christ's excellencies with today? Thanks again for listening. I pray this has been a helpful and timely reminder of who our God is. Until next time, God bless.